Hey, how's it going, YouTube? So, on the last tutorial, basically I just kind of half-assed the texture map on it, and this is actually going to be the last part in this series, part 6, I think. I don't know. So, in this one, I'm just going to basically make the texture map look epic. Because, I mean, if you're doing this for work or you're doing it for a boss or like your colleagues or whatever, or you're just trying to impress your friends, coworkers, whatever, you don't want something that's going to look half-assed. You want something that's just going to be immaculate. Something that someone can like, be like, oh yeah, that's excellent. I can have an orgasm off that. So that's what we're going to go for. We're going to go for something that just looks orgasmic, and we're going to do it superbly. So this is going to be a high-resolution texture map. It's going to be a 4K texture map. This way, if you're doing it for work or you're doing it for college, you can actually use PBR shaders inside of Unity, and this will just make it look photorealistic. So we got this texture map up here, but we need to take this this segment. I'm going to just hide these. So we need to take these sections right here, and we need to basically, yeah, we need to add these because right now, I mean, it's kind of pathetic looking. I mean, just my opinion, and if that's my opinion, more than likely you're going to have someone that's going to be like, hey man, it looks pathetic. So let's actually go ahead and do this right, and we're going to make it as a full texture. So we got that. I'm going to actually grab the whole gun this time. I'm just going to grab this whole section right here, like so, and then, oh, come on. Now, the reason why I'm hitting Control-CV, because there might be something off, yeah, see, like, we're going to need this little section down here, and we'll need that, so this way, when we go in to create the texture map, it just looks that much better. Let's see, rotate, and we're going to rotate this one, rotate about 90, and we'll move it right about here. Let's go ahead and hide that for the time being. Press enter to confirm that's where we want it. And then for this one, we're going to take just this section right here. Actually, probably just this section, because this is all we really need. It's just this little guy. This little guy? Yeah, that little guy. Actually, we're also going to grab the wheel cylinder. So let's just do that real quick. You can grab the nut back here. That's completely up to you. Or actually, I guess that's actually the cylinder release. So you can grab that. You don't have to. It's extra steps. It's not something that someone's really going to notice unless they're just like a hardcore gun fanatic. Like I'm sure some of y'all YouTubers are. Y'all are probably like looking at me like, come on, man. So we're actually going to rotate this counterclockwise. And then when we apply the texture map, we're going to apply it directly to this side using planar mapping, and it's going to look good. Just trust me, it's going to look good. So the other thing I want to do is we're going to hide these. So the other thing I want to do is I feel like we're missing something. No, maybe not. See, what do we want to do? Oh, that's right. We want to change the name. Because once again, if you're doing this for work, you don't want it to say Ruger Super Red Hawk. So we're going to, we're actually going to take this section right here. First we need to select this layer, but then we're going to hit Control-CV, and I'm just going to move this over. I'll line it up right about there, and we will duplicate this layer. Okie dokie. And move it right about here. And so, just like before, we're going to blend this in. There we go. Blend this right out here. And then for the previous layer, we're going to do the same thing. We'll just blend it like so. And then for this one, we will duplicate this layer. And we will move it back. I'm going to move it back right about here. And then we'll need to blend it up here as well. There we go. So now it just says Super Red Hawk. Well, it's still it's still part of the name, but is what we can do is we'll select this layer and we'll select this text right here and we'll hit Control C, V, and we'll move this down here. So then after that is what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to like red super hawk or something like that. There's so many different ways you can change this. You could just say super hawk or super red. I kind of like the idea of super hawk. Or how about red super hawk? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go ahead and just do this real quick. I need to select the letter red, Control C, and then Control V. I'm going to move that right about there. Yeah, it looks good. And so I need to make this brush size smaller. All I'm going to do is just blend these little pixels in. There we go. And then I need to take this, I need to grab it right about here, because right here this actually has a little bit more shininess to it than what I want. What was I doing? That's what I was doing. Control C, oh that's why, because I don't have this selected. So now we can go Control C, V, and let's go ahead and move this. We actually move this up. We need to move this up. There we go. So now all we're doing is just lining this up. I'm going to move it where it's covering the R a little bit. And then I'm going to start blending. I'm going to increase my brush size. It's going to go a lot quicker if I do. I'm just going to get it where the R starts coming on through. About like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then I can grab this, Control, I'm just going to duplicate the layer. So then all I have to do is just move this over right about here. We will duplicate the layer. Move this over right about here. And now we can select all three of these. We can merge the layers, and then we can duplicate this layer. And the reason for that, instead of just moving one little section, now we can move a huge section. So once we have done that, we already have our selection selected. So all I'm going to do is just start blending these where now you just see it say Super Hawk. So after we have done that, I need to see which layer this is. This is layer 5. So we need to move this up to here. And then I need to take this. Let me go ahead and merge these two together real quick. Let's see, merge layers. Actually, yeah, I want to do that. So then we'll take this little hawk right here. Or actually, we're just going to... Wait, what is this? What is this? Oh, how dare you. There we go. Okay, I'm happy. Kind of lost train of thought of what I was saying there for a second. Okay, that's what I was saying. So after we have done that, we need to move the red and the super in. And the easiest way to do that is let's go ahead and extend this out. So I'm just going to grab up here and grab this whole section, Control CV, and then I'm going to move it back. Move it back right about here. Why does that not look right? Oh, I know why that doesn't look right. Delete. So that's that. There we go. So layer 5 and layer 7 need to be merged together. And so now with that selected, now I can grab this whole section, Control CV, and then I can actually move this back like that. Yeah, see, that actually looks pretty good. I'm actually going to move this over the S just a little bit, and then we'll go into the eraser tool, if I can remember where it's at, and I'm just going to get it where the S starts showing through. Then I'm just rapid clicking right down here on the tail of it. And so the reason for doing that is now this bottom part, this lighter color, blends in with this darker color. And there's other ways you can do this. This is just the way I'm choosing to do it for now. I'm going to select the bottom portion of this one that we just created, and then I'm going to duplicate it. Okie dokie. And I'm just going to move it back right about there. So I know some of y'all are saying, but wait, I can see that line. It'd be the exact same thing. Just click on the red and then grab your eraser tool and just, oh so slightly, just start clicking right around there. And now it blends. So now is what we need to do is we need to figure out where all this starts. So it starts down here at layer 7, copy 3. I'm going to select all these. I could have just done shift select. I don't know why I did that. Doesn't matter. So we will merge the layers. So now it's a red super hawk. So after that, we're going to select this back portion right here. I'm actually going to select up to about here. And then I'm just going to move this forward where it covers the part of the H. And so now, see, that lines up pretty good. That is so not what I wanted. Yay, Jimmie messed up. Y'all can hate me now. I actually wanted to do a control copy on this, not a whatever crap I just pulled. And the reason why, because this way this is a new layer, and now I can actually just kind of, I can get this to come blending in. Now you can move this back. That is completely up to you. I know that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and line this up and give this a little bit more of a space, probably right about there. So then I'm going to select this back part, and I'm just going to delete it. So now we got this, the red Super Hawk, best gun ever. And I'm going to select both of these layers. I will merge the layers, and then I'll move this up into position. Move it up right about here. Yeah, right about there. And then I'm going to take the eraser tool, and I need to blend this in with the rest of the, oops. I need to blend this in with the rest of the body up here. So we're just going to do it like that. Alright, so that part is done. You don't have to keep the serial number. The logo does need to change. And we can do this one of several ways. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this copyright symbol. I don't like copyright because that is copyright infringement. And that's just wrong, man. That's just wrong. So we're going to Control CV, this little selection I just did. We're going to move it over. And guess what? This is where the magic happens. We just blend the crap out of it. And people are like, ooh. I don't know what that sound was, but I just made it, so it's mine. Ooh. Okay, so then the next thing we need to do is you can either get rid of the logo completely or you can change it up. I'm going to grab this little section right here. Control C. See, I love it when that happens, because actually, you know what? Instead of doing that, I'm actually just going to grab this little layer that we created right here, this little guy. And so I'm going to duplicate that layer. I'm going to move it over right here. And then I can grab my eraser tool. I'm just going to crank up the opacity to 100%. I'm just going to get rid of all this. Get rid of this down here and get rid of that. And then go down, crank it back down to 15. And I'm just rapid clicking as I'm moving this around. See how many times I haven't hit undo right there? That's because I'm just rapid clicking. Okay, there we go. And so now with that, I can go and select these two. I'm going to go ahead and merge these layers. This way it's one layer. And I'm going to merge these two as well. And so now we need to change this up a little bit. You know what I think would be really, really neat instead of just keeping this logo? I'm thinking like taking this logo and I'm like, you could rotate it around, you could flip it, and you could do all this cool stuff. I'm going to go one step further with that. I am actually going to delete this section out of it. I'm going to grab just this small grain down here. Control CV. With this little bitty grain, I make my kingdom. So we're going to duplicate that layer. And the other option you have, you can just hit V because, you know, that's the last thing that we made. And that's actually what I'm going to do, is just start hitting V. And the nice thing about having such a small area like this selected is blending is going to be much easier. And I'll explain why here in just a second. For now, I'm just going to start putting these little guys in here, like so. This could take a while. If I had half a brain, I would actually speed up the video segment right here. But in case y'all just want to watch this while I'm not doing it, which I don't know why someone would want to watch me doing this. You know, I doubt someone's going to be like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. Look at him put those little sections in here. And, I mean, if that's your thing, that's cool. But, anyways, oh, wait, I still got some checker pattern down here. So, I'm not done. And now someone went, man, this guy, the way he's doing is the coolest thing ever. I'm sure right now y'all are like, yay, he's still going. He's still going. Okay, now I'm going to stop going. Okay, so earlier I said you don't have to really worry about blending this. And the reason why, because when we fit this on screen, that's what you're going to see. Even if you zoom in to this entire map, as you can see, that still doesn't look half bad. So after that, I actually need to select all of these layers now. This is going to be the really fun part. So all of these layers that are less than 20, I'm going to turn off. Actually, I'm thinking all these layers are less than... There we go. And so now I need to select every one of these little guys. That was my phone, if you're wondering. Okay, so yeah, from here and all the way up to 25, I'm going to merge. And I'm going to move this up. And it looks like from 26 to 28, I need to do the same thing, merge. I don't know why I didn't just select these two. There we go. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. Right up here. Okay. I need to turn this layer back on. And the purpose for doing this is this way I can move this right about here. And then I will go in and start blending. Now the reason for me doing this is if there's anything that I missed, this will look a lot better. And you're just trying to get like this faded edge. You're going to have to crank down the brush after you get this faded edge, and you'll crank up the opacity all the way to 100%, and you're just going to hang right out here on the outside of it, and just barely get that out of there. So once you have done that, we can click on Layer 28 Copy. I'm going to actually select the whole thing, Control CV, and then this way I can just move this layer into position here, Control V, and do it the same thing right here, Control V. Do the same thing right here, Control V, and same thing right here. And so now we have this nice texture that's actually like really presentable. After you have done that, you can select all these layers, go ahead and merge them. And then all I'm going to do is just follow this brush around the contour of, I don't know what that is. I guess the logo edges thingy, I don't know. I'm not very smart. Okay, fit on screen, and see now you can see how much better that looks. Even zooming in, like, that actually looks really clean. Now it kind of looks like a leaf. So, what I'm going to do now is, this is the part where it gets fun. Let's see, I was actually thinking about doing something like a 9 in the middle, or a 6, or something like that. You can do anything that you want. This is your project. Have fun with it. If you're following me, that's cool. But what I was going to do is I was going to take one of these claws. Control CV. And the nice thing about these claws is if we actually move this layer up to the top above those other layers, we can actually get it fit in there like so. And the reason why I want a claw... Oh, Jimmie's doing something. Yes, I am. So we get a claw, and we're going to rotate this. Transform, rotate. Going to rotate it like this. Apply. Like that. And I'm going to go ahead and select this little guy. Control CV. And we will edit, transform, rotate horizontal. Move this out to about there. So then we need the eraser tool. We're going to erase this down here. Get rid of these little black specks. There we go. And now we got this little logo that, yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but you know what? It's not. So Ruger can kiss my butt. You know, I mean, epic immortality. And if you really want to take another step forward, what we'll do is we'll select both of these layers. Yeah, so we'll select both of these layers right here. What is that? Oh, that's that layer. Okay. And we're going to duplicate both of these. And then we're going to move them up. And then we're going to go to Edit, Transform. We're going to flip vertical. Move them right about here. Except for this one. This one I'm going to move right about here. There we go. And that's a way of creating your own logo. Just taking small little shapes. You can also go in and make your own logo and make it like unique to you. That's completely up to you. I'm not going to hold that against you or anything like that. So now we need to change this number up. You can also completely get rid of it. I like having that little extra detail. This way, whenever someone's looking at the work you've done, they're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And that's really what I try to go for. Okay, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Also, under here, and while I'm thinking about it, I need to go ahead and open the ammo image that we saved earlier. We also need to create a texture map for the ammo as well. I'm going to make that all part of the same texture map, if you're wondering. Which I'm sure some of you are, and some of you are like, who cares, man? Just keep going. Okay, don't hurt me. So, the way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to select this small portion right here. Control C, and then I'm going to, so I need to zoom out. I'm just going to fit this on screen. And I'm thinking right about here would be just really good to have this. And I just pressed Control V. So I'm going to move this out here for now. Is what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the layer once, edit, transform. We're going to flip it vertical, or you can flip it horizontal. That doesn't really matter. Just move it right about there. And then I'm going to select this layer and select this layer. So we should have two of them selected. We will go down here to duplicate layers, okay, and then we'll go into edit. And if you did the horizontal last time you moved over here, then this time with both of them selected, you need to do the other. So in this case, we're going, because we did vertical last time, we need to do horizontal. And then we'll just move this. So we're going to move it probably right about here, I'm thinking. I don't know, I need to bring down the opacity on these two and see what we get. So, looks like right about here. I think that will work. Alright, so I'm going to merge these two layers together. And the reason why I'm not merging all of these layers together is because I still need to create a thing. Wow, I totally lost my train of thought there. By the way, how many of you kind of laugh at me on some of these tutorial videos? You know, just kind of like, you know, like, man, this guy is crazy. I like him. I like some little things he says. You know, I'm just kind of curious. I got a friend who works at a gas station nearby, and he said that he likes watching them because they seem to be really legit. And so I'm just kind of curious, you know, just wondering. There we go. Okay, now for this one, or I'm sorry, these bottom layers right here, I'm actually going to duplicate these again. But instead of keeping them up here, I'm actually going to move them down towards the bottom, and then we'll go to, we'll flip these horizontal. And the reason for that is when I move these, and line these up like so, I get rid of the whiteness. So after that, I'm going to click on just this one layer. I need to select a round, a shell casing. We'll hit Control CV. I'm going to move this down. And now is what I need to do is I actually need to get rid of everything that is not the bullet. So I'm going to just hit delete. Going to add this selection. I'm going to add this little dot right here. Ah, see, there we go. Come on, you can do it. You know what? I'm just going to zoom in and do it that way because this is actually, honestly, kind of starting to piss me off a little bit. We need the magic tool brush and we need to lower these C's. There we go. Really? You know, one thing I like about Photoshop is I grab like just this little guy right here, and it's like the preview thing you seen was just this small little box up here, and then it's like, nope, just kidding, like that. I mean, come on, really, Photoshop? Get your crap together. Okay, you know what? Screw it. That is close enough. I'm rolling with it. So I'm going to, now I'm just going to click up here and zoom out some because I don't want to keep having to fart with this. So now I can grab just this bullet and aha, evil Photoshop. How dare you? Oh, and by the way, on these bullet layers, you need to move these up kind of high. Make sure it goes over everything. The reason why, because if you don't, when you go in to try and, I'm trying to think how to explain this. When you try to go in there and try to put the bullets where they're supposed to go, you're going to get this really interesting problem. And so one of the problems you're noticing is that it actually deleted this bottom section right here. And so a very easy fix for that, because we had copied and pasted this one up here, is what we'll do is, let me just crank up the brush size. We're going to crank up the opacity. All I'm going to do is just delete this section up here because we don't really need it. You probably could have done this to begin with. Me, I like trying to find little shortcuts because lol. And so now I'm going to zoom in. It's kind of aggravating because I don't really need all of this. It's just like, I think Photoshop likes to mess with me. It's like, hey, Jimmie's on. Let's see if I can really screw with them today. So, I mean, I'm not trying to down Adobe because, I mean, they are a phenomenal company. They have really good products. I'm not saying this because I work for Adobe. I'm saying this because I'm, like, legitimately out of all the video edit, or not video editing, but all the image editing software that I can use for texture maps, I'm like, Photoshop is my to-go program because just how clean you can make everything. And me, I'm not even half-assed at this program, and I can still make real clean texture maps. So after I've done that, basically I'm just going to line these up. I'll figure out where they line up first. So that's going to line up right about here then. Right about there. Okay. So after I've done that, I'm going to merge both those layers together, like so. And now we have a complete round. So once you've done that, all we're doing is we're putting one of these in each one of these spots. Yeah, that's basically it. So we will, let's go ahead and select this, Control CV, move that right about here, Control V, Control V, Control V. Now, if you want, because obviously you're not going to have each one of these bullets in the exact same position. There's just no way. So if you want, you can select one of these and you can just kind of rotate it a little bit, and then you can select the next one and edit, transform, which is Shift Control T. Shift Control T. Why did it just do that? That was weird. So I'm not going to do that again because that was all sorts of screwed up. Move this up just a little bit. Let me select this layer. Oh, you bastard. Is this a layer? That is not a layer. How about this one? This is a layer. Okay. So let's go ahead and, what was it? Oh, duplicate layer. Duh. Come on, Jimmie. I thought you were a master at this. Okay, so then we'll go into edit, we'll edit just rotation, and we'll move it like that. There we go. And, I mean, doing this, it's not a necessary step, but if someone's, like, really anal about something, they might notice it. They'd be like, there is no way you're going to put all those bullets in exactly the same way. And that's why I'm taking time to do this, because, I mean, I don't care how good you are at reloading anything, your bullets are not going to be exact if you're just doing a quick reload, which is what most video games emphasize on, or how fast a player can reload. So anyways, now that we've done that, I just realized something. We don't have the upper or lower part of the wheel cylinder. No, we do not. So an easy fix to that is I'm just going to grab this section up here, Control C, and let's go ahead and add this in real quick. So is what I want to do is I want to line this up probably right about here. There we go. And then I'm going to go into my eraser tool. Yeah, that's big enough. Yeah, that's what she said. I'm just going to erase this section up here. And I'm going to erase this down to about there, like so. I'm going to keep part of this in here for now. I will end up getting rid of it, but for now I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to crank the opacity down to about 15%, and now I need to blend all of this in. I don't like how I just got that. But you know what? We have Photoshop. We can do more magic with Photoshop. The only thing is you're going to want to move this layer down to about there. All you're going to do is you need to find out where this is at. Right about there. And then we can select this up here. I'm actually going to delete all of that. And then eraser tool. I have to click out of the square box, otherwise you're not going to erase anything. It's just going to look at you like, well, what do you want to do? Okay, there we go. So that doesn't look half bad. So yeah, now that we have done that, we could merge all these together. I'm still not quite ready for that. And the reason why, because we have this weird, I don't know, this weird thing going on down here. So we will select that little section. We need to make sure we have this back area selected. Or actually, I never duplicated these. Let's see. Yeah, so we got this upper selection selected, and we'll hit Control-CV, and we'll just grab that and we'll move it down right about here. And we need to move this up kind of high because it's actually behind a lot of these layers. And I'm going to zoom out. No, I'm going to zoom in. So now that we have done that, let's go ahead and see if we can try to line this up a little bit better. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we will create another layer like that. And we're going to you need to try and match it up halfway. And so now with your brush tool selected, we will select these outer parts like so. And once again, I'm just rapid clicking. I'm barely even selecting anything. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. And now I need to grab this one up here. I'm going to do the same thing. I want to get rid of this dot. I want to get rid of this hard edge. I want to get rid of part of that hard edge. I'm going to select way out here. And I'm going to select right there. So then the next thing we need to do is we need to select this layer again. I don't know which one it is. I guess it doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to select a small bit of white. Control CV. And then I'm going to move it probably right about there. And then I'm going to grab another section of this. Once again, make sure you have this selected. And Control CV. I'm going to move that down right about there. I need to move this up. Come on, Photoshop, you can do it. And then for this one, I'm actually going to rotate it just a little bit. Not a whole lot. I have to move it just a hair. Press Enter. And I'll move it in a position like that. There we go. And so once you have done that, so I think layer... See, this is actually why it's good to try to name your layers, which I'm actually really bad about this. If I was a boss and I had an employee half as crappy as me, I'd be like, yo man, you suck. But I mean, it's whatever. So I'm just gonna click on layer 34. I don't see any change. I don't see any change. I don't see any. Oh, there we go. There's change. But no change with these. So these, I can probably go ahead and merge these together and be all right. And for this layer, I'm going to duplicate it. So we'll duplicate it like that, and we will move it over. Look what else I grabbed. That is awesome. So I'm just going to delete that. I don't need it. I don't want it. Oh, I thought I saw something else up here. I guess it's just a speck on my monitor. Okay, so then after that I'm going to grab this, edit, transform, horizontal, and I'm going to move this up right about there. And let's go ahead and save it. You know, I should be way better about saving, but I'm not. Okay, so earlier, or actually no, I need to do this first before I explain about that. So let me go ahead and zoom in. And yeah, we got this little bit of S. I really don't like it. I just absolutely do not like it. It looks like it's a flaw in the gun. And I'm like, come on dude, it's Ruger. Ruger has no flaws. So I'm going to select this layer, Control CV, and I don't know why I just moved the mouse up there. I'm going to put that right about here. Right about here. It's kind of cool how it's already blended for me, you know. Then I'm just going to do this. And once again, I'm just rapid clicking along this edge right here. Now you can click all the way around the edges, and that will blend it a lot better. But essentially, that's all I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and grab this corner as well. Blend that in. There we go. Yeah, you can see it up close, but once you zoom out, you're not going to see diddly squat. So after that, I'm going to select this layer. I'm going to select this section right here, Control CV. And you know, it really helps if you have the right layer selected. So now we'll do Control CV. I'm going to move that into position right about here. And yeah, I know it doesn't match up, but that's why we have to go into Transform, Rotate. Just going to rotate it just a little bit. Enter. And then we will go and make sure the right layer is selected this time. And we're going to select this section right here. Control CV. And then I'm going to move it over here. Oh wow, that is like really dark. Man, that sucks. Sure. Let me click on this, more of this image layer, like boom. And so this way, when I select this down here, Control CV, I'll move this up to the top. You know, I have way too many layers. This is like the crappiest thing ever, is having this many layers. And it's just, the reason why I say that, because it's really hard to work with sometimes when you start getting a bunch of layers, and especially if you're as bad as I am about not, not identifying them, it can get really chaotic really quickly. But luckily, man, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so anyways, we're just going to blend this off, like so. And then the one behind it, we're going to do the same thing. Just kind of blending it in. And so now, the last thing we're going to do, we need to select this down here, and we're going to select just this right here. Control CV. We're going to move this in position. I'm going to say right about here. Oh, come on, Photoshop, you can do it. That didn't move it, did it? No, it did not. Yeah, so I'm like really bad about this sometimes. I hope some of y'all are watching and are like, man, this dude sucks. You know, I really hope that's not the case. So after we move that, we're going to go into transform, and this time we're going to scale. I'm going to scale it like that, and enter. Then I'm going to move it down. This is part of tweaking the image. So let's go ahead and see what we get whenever I try to blend this in around here. There we go. And I'm actually going to completely get rid of this up here. So let's go ahead and fit on screen. You can see a little bit of distortion. Just a little bit. But an easy fix is just to grab it and move it up just a hair. And then I'm going to grab these tool. Oh, that's actually part of something else. Okay. So I still need to grab the eraser tool, but I need to make the brush size way smaller. Because what I need to do is come in here and see if I can blend this in. So there we go. And then you go into Edit, Transform. We're going to skew it. Don't want to skew it too much. And that was too much. Let's go to Distort. I bet Distort would be, like, really cool. Maybe not. I'm thinking something like that. And once again, I'm just rapid clicking. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just very, very rapidly clicking. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and fit on screen, zoom in just a little bit. There's still a little bit of distortion, but more than likely when you're playing the game and you see this, it's going to go a lot quicker than that. One thing I can do, let me go ahead and grab all three of these layers, and we're going to merge them. There we go. So now the only layers that are not merged are the bullet layers and the other side of this. I'll move that up to about there. And you know what's bad is normally when I'm doing these tutorials, it's like 3 in the morning. Right now it's like 4 p.m. It's Saturday for me. I don't know what day y'all are watching this on. It might be a Saturday. It might be Hump Day, aka Monday. I know, it's actually Wednesday, but the reason why I call it Hump Day on Monday, because, you get out of bed and you have that back hunch over, like, ugh. So, yeah, that's why I call it that. The reason why I merge these layers together, because now, what we can do is we can actually take this upper section, and I'm going to grab right about here. Now, I don't know how I didn't notice this earlier, but I'm going to get rid of it. This is going to be easy. Just going to select this, Control CV, move this over right about here. And then I will Shift select the back image. Let me go ahead and merge those. There we go. So, yeah, zombie, hump day, Monday, not Wednesday. It's a new thing. Just roll with it. Don't question it. Don't analyze it. Just roll with it. So after that, I'm going to take this and I'm going to rotate this as well. I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. Select this, edit, transform, rotate. Move it like sure. Apply. Move it right about there. Oops. Okay, there we go. I'm rolling with it. Don't judge me. Let me just click on this up here. We'll zoom out. Okay, so now that we have successfully made that nice and smooth, sorry about that. The next thing we need to do is actually work on this section down here, the center section. And there are several ways you can do this. I'm still, in my mind, trying to figure out how I want to do this. So I'm going to open up Chrome, and I'm going to type in Red Hawk, oh, come on, cylinder. You know, I cannot type to save my name, and we need a profile. So let me go into images, because I just need to see what this looks like. I'm like, yeah, we got the other image, but here we go. So, yeah, there's really not much to it. And I was also hoping maybe I could find another image, you know, kind of like this. Or actually, this one would be perfect. That one would actually work. No, it wouldn't, because it's not a dead-on profile. So, yeah, I guess we're just going to have to kind of like wing it. Or we could go with this one. Let's see what this one looks like. That one looks kind of cool. So what's the image size? 400 by 385. That sucks. So, yeah, no, this one's not bad, but I don't like the way it looks. I'm picky. So, I can't really find a good image, so I guess we're just going to go back into Photoshop. We're going to keep tweaking the hell out of this. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. No, I'm not. Shut up, Jimmie. Okay. So, I'm going to grab... I'm trying to actually grab the middle of this, like on these quarters right here. So I get a quarter of that. And then I'm going to move this out. So that actually doesn't look half bad. And I'm going to move this one all the way to the top. We will transform this. We're going to rotate it counterclockwise. And so now is what I need to do is I need to try and line this up. Okay, that's where I am. Yeah. So, yeah, we got this issue going on. And see, this is not going to work at all like I was hoping it would. So, I guess I'm going to have to just grab this. I'm going to have to do this as segments, which really suck. But that's okay, because I can still make magic happen, even with just segments. So that's what I'm going to do with that one, and now I'm going to move this into position, and I have to rotate it. Transform, rotate. I'm going to rotate it about like that. I'm going to move it, I think probably right about here. Something like that. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And I'm going to go ahead and control CV. This way all I have to do is just keep hitting control V. I'm going to flip this one horizontal. I'm going to move this one right about here. Yeah, right about here. Why not? And then control V. I'm going to move this one over here edit, transform, rotate. Make this one right about here. And then I will control V, edit, transform, rotate, apply. I guess I'm going to move it right about here. I mean, I think I can live with this like that. I'm not really worried about this middle one because, wait, I've already done the middle one. Never mind, ignore that. So let's go ahead and go to transform, rotate. I'm going to move it right about here. Something kind of like that. Nope, that is not even. That is even. Okay, there we go. And so now we have this shape right here. The next thing we need to do is we need to start working on this shape right here. We need to make this more cylindrical. So, first thing I want to do is get rid of this excess up here. And I'm going to do that by shift selecting every one of these layers, except for that one. And I will merge them. That was awesome. So this is layer 47, 53. Okay. So I should be able to merge all of these and we not run into that problem again. I guess layer 47 was still selected for whatever reason. There we go. Alright, so now we got that shape. The next thing I want to do is I need to make this go all the way around, and I need to do it where it's uniform. So this gets really wide right here, and this gets really tight up here. But what I can do is I can actually take a small section like this. I need to make sure this back section is selected first. And then go into my move, make sure my move tool is selected, control CV, and I just move this to the top. I'm actually moving this one all the way to the top. So this way when I move it, I'm going to move it right about here. And let's see how this looks whenever I start blending it in. So I'm just going to rapid click. And rapid click down here on the bottom. There we go. Then I'll select this. I could have sworn I moved that all the way to the top. Huh. Interesting. It didn't take. We will make it take. There we go. And I'm going to duplicate the layer. Just move it right about here. Edit, transform, rotate. Boom. And no, I think right up here would be better. And there we go. Now that's nice and uniform. So I'm going to click on this over here. See what we get. Okay. So just like that. Now is what I need to do. Well, first I need to select this layer. So that's layer 47. I need to select 58. And, wait, no, I don't need layer 47. I just need 58s. We will duplicate these layers. Okay, edit, transform. And we're going to flip vertical. And we're going to move them straight down. I say straight down, but, you know, we kind of coming off a little bit. That's okay. And so now we get that. So that's starting to look a lot better. Man, why am I so tired? I blame it on you guys. I gotta blame somebody. I mean, I'm white, so it's okay. So the next thing I need to do now is Let me go ahead and start working a little bit on this wheel cylinder a little bit more on it. So we got 42, 35, 42 and 35, that's it? Really? Okay, that'll work for me. Let's go ahead and merge these layers. Did that just select a bullet? Yes, it did. Why did it do that? Okay, so we got 42, 35. So it's just 42 and 35. Oh, I guess it didn't select a bullet before. It just seemed like it did. Merge layers. Yeah, see, this one changes. Oh, I know why it changes. Because if we hide this, let's go ahead and click on this bullet and move it up. There we go. That is a lot better. I was wondering, like, man, what the hell is going on today? Am I off my rocker? Probably. So we're going to select this right about here. You can select a little bit more. You know, you can select a little bit more like this. And actually, that'd probably be a better idea because we are going to be blending this. And we're just going to hit Control-CV, Edit, Transform. We're going to flip horizontal. Do not judge me. Undo that. We're going to flip vertical, not horizontal. And then we're just going to move. Are y'all just as puzzled as I am? I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty puzzled right now. I'm like extremely puzzled. Oh, that's why. Okay. So as what was going on is merge layers. There we go. I forgot that I had that extra layer down there, and that's what was going on. So that's what was going on. So I'm just going to grab a little extra. Like I said before, we're going to hit Control CV. There we go. Edit. We're going to transform, flip vertical, and then we're going to move this into position. And we actually need to move this up to about here. About like that. And so now when you look down here, this moves in and it looks good. So then is what we're going to do is, now why didn't that take? Is it because that is exactly why it did not take? So at this point, I'm going to grab all of these and I'm going to go ahead and merge these like so. And the reason for this is because this way I don't run into this deformity. And is what I'll do is for this up here, I'm going to grab this section like so, probably right about there. I'm going to grab just a little bit of that so that way I have something to line up with. Control-CV, and I'm going to move this down. Let me move this layer up. Why, do you hate me? So, yes, this is why you need to, this is why you need to name your layers. Because I got all of these layers right here, and I mean, it is just awesome. So, yeah, is what I'm going to do is I'm just going to merge all of these together. I need to clean this up. Let me make sure. Let's see. Okay. So, there we go. Okay. I'm not going to lie, I don't even know what these are doing. So we'll go ahead and turn these layers back on now that we have finished farting with that. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this whole layer. Okay. Now, come on. Why are you doing this to me? Do you hate me? Alright, so I don't really need all this extra. I just did it because I was really losing track. Once again, that's why it's very important to name things. I'm not going to because, you know, that's just how I roll. I am awesome like that. And the downside about not naming things is right now it's actually costing me time. So, you know, it's whatever. I don't really care either way. There we go. So, yeah, that's close. Okay, edit, transform, and we're going to flip it vertical. And the reason why we're flipping this vertical is because of this little guy down here. Still not lined up. There we go. Then I don't need this. So then down here I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to grab this down here. I'm going to move this in position just a little bit better. I'm just going to tweak it just a little bit more. He said tweak. Yes, I did. There we go. And then I will... Let me just go and click on the zoom out. Okay. Now that I have done that, I'm going to select all of these, like so. Let's go ahead and merge them. We will duplicate this layer, edit, transform. We're going to flip it horizontal. And I did not grab everything. So let's see, layer 42. Okay, so we'll have to merge it with layer 42. Let's see what we get. Yeah, that's actually what we want. Okay, so now let's go ahead and duplicate this layer. You know, I'm sure right now some of you gurus are watching like, man, I cannot believe he is going through there without renaming everything. That's just so inefficient. You know, if you're one of those guys, please comment and let me know, because I'm actually kind of curious as to how many of y'all are saying that. Okay. So now I can just delete this right here. I'm just going to go about halfway. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of all this crap here in the middle. See, I don't need any of this crap over here, so that can go away. Alright, there we go. And so now we got a nice round wheel cylinder. We need to turn down the opacity down to about 13% or 15%. It's completely up to you. And we're just going to blend this in now. About like that. And we're going to do the same thing down here. Just blend it in. There we go. So now we got a nice round wheel cylinder. So, next thing, wait a minute. Ha, I knew it. We had extra over here that we did not need. Okay, let's go ahead and save it. Control S. Okay, so now we need to work a little bit more with this middle part. It's close, but nowhere near where it needs to be. Move my microphone down a little bit. Alright, so we're going to work strictly with this. And let's go ahead and start by blending this up. Okay, there we go. Let's start with blending this just a little bit. And once again, I'm just rapid clicking. That's all I'm doing. So now we'll select this, and we need to select this whole section all the way down to here. Control CV, move this layer down to the bottom. Edit, transform, we're going to flip it horizontal. We'll move this over here for now, about right here. Okay, so, until I forgot what I was doing. Right, move this up to here. Let's go ahead and just blend this in right about here. Now, one thing I am going to do, I'm going to get rid of this monstrosity up here. We don't really need it. There we go. So then up here, I'm going to do the same thing. Not quite the same thing, but close. You get the idea. Opacity, we're going to move this down to about 11% because we need this. Boy, this is going to be hard to blend. We might actually have to grab one of these bullets and reposition it up here, and we'll do that later on. For now, let's go ahead and just start blending all this in. There we go. And we're going to blend this in down here just a little bit. So now that we've gotten that, that's looking closer, but still not quite what we want. Ideally, is what we'd want to do. Let me go ahead and select this layer. Ideally is what we would do. Actually, I'm just going to go into lasso select. And I'm going to start up here, close to the center. This is not what I want. So I don't have a lasso select in Photoshop. Guess what, YouTube? I did not know that. I do now, but before I did not. So we're going to copy that layer. And we're actually going to rotate this 180 degrees. And the reason for doing this is, move up here above this layer. The reason for doing this, and I should have been thinking ahead on this, but the reason why I want to do this is this way, when we put this in, now all of these darker shaded areas are on one side. I don't know why I didn't think about that ahead of time. White boy problems, I guess. I don't know. And now all I'm doing is just blending these in. I did not like how I did a little too much there. That was clearly my screw up. So, there we go. It's looking closer. It is looking a lot closer. So now is what I want to do is I want to take just this section up here. Actually, what I want to do is I want to get rid of all this extra unneeded crap. That's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to get rid of all this extra unneeded crap. I'm just going to make it look beautiful. So we'll go around like that. Scroll down. And we'll go around like this. There we go. And we'll go ahead and blend this real quickly. I'm going to move it down to about 10 for this. And I'm just right clicking all the way around here. There we go. Alright, so now with that done, I can go ahead and select this little section right here, and I can grab this. Let's see, yeah, that's pretty close to the middle. So, Control C, V, and just like before, I'm going to move it into position, but this layer right here needs to be at the very top. And we'll go ahead and rotate it. If I can find my rotate tool. I'm going to rotate about like that, and I need to move this close to being in position. So I'm thinking something kind of like this. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty close. That's close enough. Move up the opacity. I'm just going to get rid of this extra, and then Go ahead and get rid of this down here. Then I'll crank the opacity back down. All I'm going to do is just, I'm rapid clicking along this edge right here, but over here I'm slowly clicking because I can see part of this down here that's kind of protruding out a little bit. So I'm basically just trying not to get too much of that. And that's all I'm doing right now is I'm just blending it in. So then we will duplicate this layer. And we'll move this down. Edit, transform. We will rotate. Rotate it about to here. Let me see. Probably rotate back up just a little bit. That doesn't look half bad. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to rapid click around here. And we will rapid click down here on this bottom edge. Let's go ahead and scroll down just a little bit. I'm going to rapid click around there just a little bit. Let's go ahead and duplicate this layer again. And each time I rotate this, basically I'm just rotating it just enough to kind of line up with this back here. And then all I have to do is just move it in position like that. It's like this one, it actually fit in there real nicely. I wish they could all be that nice. And so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to see what happens if I hit again. That actually worked out really well. Let's see. No, it didn't. Okay. So we're still going to have to rotate it. Don't have to rotate it much, just a little bit. Something kind of like that. Put it right about here. And we have part of this down here that's sticking out a little bit, which we can fix that later on. No biggie. Duplicate layer. And by the way, if you say no biggie, it's usually something that means like, oh man, it's no big deal. Definitely not something you want to say to someone with erectile dysfunction. It's no biggie. They're already going to know this. Alright, there we go. So we got that in there. Now this is kind of oblong shaped a little bit, and we could fix that. We could. Or, yeah. Go ahead and merge these layers real quick. Let's see, what layer is this? See, I just don't like the way that looks. Okay, there we go. So I don't like the way that that looked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to merge all these layers first. Merge layers. And see, it still does it. Why is it doing that? Yay! Oh, I know why. Okay, so what's going on is merge layers. I never did this one because I just copied from that one. And that's why it did that to me. So, yeah, white boy problems. We could fix this. I'm going to see how it looks whenever I zoom out. I don't know why I keep right-clicking like that. I'm honestly not going to worry about it, just because I don't need to. So I'm going to roll with it as is. But I will fix the chrome part in the middle. So what I need to do is I need to select. Let me make sure I have all these layers selected. Select, merge layers. There we go. So I need to merge those as well. There we go. And for me to do this, all I'm going to do is just select this section right here. Let me try this again. I'm going to select this section right here. Basically, I'm grabbing the quarter. Control CV. We need to edit, transform. We can rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. It doesn't really matter. All I'm doing right here is I'm just following the contours of it. So I need to go up to about here because I'm going to be doing some blending. I'm going to make my brush smaller. So the first thing I want to do is grab right about here, and then all I'm going to do is just work my way around. Something kind of like this. And I still may end up tweaking this cylinder where it's more cylindrical, because now I'm starting to see the flaws in my plan. And move that down just a hair more. And I'm thinking about like that. That actually doesn't look too terribly bad. Okay. So I'm just going to blend this off real quickly. There we go. Now let's go ahead and duplicate this layer. And last time we did it clockwise, so we'll do clockwise again. I'm going to put this probably right about here, I'm thinking. And we will duplicate the layer. Edit, clockwise. I like how I say clockwise before I actually click clockwise. Okay, there we go. And so now is what I'll need to do is I'll need to select this layer, and I'm going to grab this section right in here, Control CV, edit, transform, and we're going to flip horizontal, and we're going to move this in right about here, and then more blending. So I'm going to blend this outside part, I'm going to blend this bottom part, and then right here I'm going to go duplicate. I'm going to move this down just a hair, probably right about there, and then I'll blend the upper part right about here. I'm going to blend this in, and then down here I'm going to do that, and then right here I'm going to select that one and that one. We will merge those layers, and then we're going to duplicate this layer, edit, transform, and we're going to go counterclockwise. Awesome. So that is okay, because it still gives us the same thing that we're kind of looking for, which is basically just putting this, let's see, I want to say it's right about here. About like that. And then all I have to do is just grab my eraser tool, and I just have to go in like this. So if you're following along and you just did the same thing, you're going to be thinking like, oh man, he really knows what he's doing. Honestly, dude, that was a complete accident. It just kind of worked out. You know, sometimes things do work out like that. It's rare, but they do happen. So I'm going to blend this off. And see, we still have this little bit of a piece protruding out. And so is what I want to do is I just want to take a small little section, kind of like that. So Control C, V. I'm going to move this right about here. Now this is going to be time consuming. All I'm doing is just clicking the outside of this, like so. I'm only doing 3 or 4 clicks. That's it. So, layer 52, I will rename this. I'm going to rename this to blend layer. So, every time I duplicate it, I know exactly what I'm looking at. I'm going to put this right about here. We'll go ahead and duplicate this layer again. I'm going to move it right about here. Okay. We'll go ahead and duplicate this layer. Move it right about here. Do the same thing. Right about there. Same thing. This one's going to go right about here. And that's all I'm doing is I'm just trying to blend all this in. I'm actually trying to get rid of these dark spots in here. It's okay if I have this little bit in here. I can blend that off later on if I choose to, and I probably will. Because, as I said in the beginning of this video, if you're doing this for work or something, you're trying to impress somebody, I'm going to make sure that you're getting, I'm going to give you the best tutorial I can to making the most epic looking texture maps that you can possibly make. Because when this is done, I know it's a lot of work right now, but when it's done, I mean, everyone who you know They're just going to be like, oh wow, you did this? This is impressive. And then that's when you can like, yeah, this guy showed me how, and you can like, give me my kudos or whatever. Okay. See, this is why I don't like. This is why I don't like grabbing multiple layers like that, because you run into that problem. So that's basically all I'm doing right now. Is I'm just trying to blend all this off. And I know you can see it right now that it does not match at all. Do not worry about that. When it's all said and done and you're zoomed out, as before, you're not going to be able to tell. So let's see. Let's go ahead and duplicate this layer. I'm going to start off right about here, I'm thinking. And we'll duplicate this layer. Duplicate this layer. So, yeah, this is the fun part, just constantly duplicating layers. And you're going to think this is just insane when you see how many layers you've actually created. Let's go ahead and duplicate this layer. Put it in right about here. There we go. And so now you'll notice this center part looks good, but we have this weird, I guess, deformity going on. For that, all I'm going to do, I can actually do this one of several ways. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I'm kind of torn on this. I really am, because I know you're not going to have this shining all the way around, but at the same time, I don't want this dark area in here. So one of the things I can do is I can just take. No, I can't do that because I have to merge them. So down here under the blend layer, I need to find all my blend layers. It goes all the way up to here, and we're going to go ahead and merge these layers. And so now whenever I do this, I can just select all these blend layers right here, Control-C-V, and then I can go up to here. And right now you're thinking, well, that doesn't match. I know it doesn't, but this is the beauty of blending, is we can do this. And all I'm doing is just rapid clicking all the way around here. And so now you can see how that's already starting to look a lot better. This one I'm going to call center layer. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this as well. And all I'm going to do is just kind of paste these around here. And as you're pasting, we're going to add more layers on top of these. I promise you we will. Duplicate layer. Duplicate layer. So by me doing this little pasting trick, I know it doesn't quite match up right now. Here in a little bit it will. Duplicate layer. There we go. So this is kind of what I'm going for, is something real similar to this. Under the ammo, we're actually going to zoom. Yeah, we're going to zoom way in. And what we're going to do is we're going to select this center portion. Control-C, and we'll go back in here, Control-V, and we're going to move this up to about here. And then we need to get rid of all of this that goes around here. You need to try and keep this as tight as possible. There we go. Okay, so once you've done that, you can go back down to the opacity on your brush. I'm going to use kind of a low, definitely less than 15%. And all I'm going to do is just slowly blend this around. And so you might be wondering, well, what was the point of adding all those blend layers? Because as you're doing this, you'll notice I'm kind of getting closer to the middle. Something kind of like that. And so now we have this layer. You may not see all of them, but by having those in there, let me just click zoom out. That's what you now have. You have a nice clean texture right there in the middle. So that was the point of that. So the next thing I want to do is, let me go ahead and grab, okay. What is layer 52? Okay, so we need to merge layer 52 with the blend layers and center layer. So let's go ahead and merge these. Let's see. I don't remember what these were. Okay, here we go. Layer 50 is this monstrosity over here. And layer 52 is something else. So yeah, we're going to want that one. So layer 50 and 51 can be merged. And then we have 51 copy, which that can be merged. And, okay, so it can actually be merged with these as well. Okay, and 52 can be merged. That one can be merged. And that's all I'm doing is just working my way up. So, and this one can be merged. There we go. So now once I have done that, let's see. Okay, so yeah. I don't know what 52 is. That actually has me scratching my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab just this upper section. I'm going to grab it right about here. And I'm going to pull it down. Right about here. Now, why is it doing that? I know I don't have a section missing out of that. Or do I? Okay, there we go. So, the purpose of me doing this, besides to piss y'all off, is I really need to figure out what's going on right here in this little area, because this does not make any sense why it's doing that. Maybe there's actually legitimately a section missing out of there. I don't know. But the reason why I'm moving this down like this, there we go, because I'm trying to get all these uniform. And so by doing so, one thing I do need to do first is I actually need to select this little guy, Control CV. I'm going to move this little guy down here. So he's out of the way, and he's all safe. He's safe and he's happy. But the purpose of me doing this is I'm honestly just trying to flatten out... Oops. I'm trying to flatten out this the center wheel cylinder. There we go. That's the only reason why I'm doing this. Then I just take this, I just move it back into position. Like so. I'm going to say right about there. So if you've been following along, you can already see how much this image has changed. And I mean, it's quite a bit of a change, actually. So anyways, I'm just going to erase this out like so. Let me select this, make sure that layer is selected. I'm just going to grab this small little section, Control CV, pull this up to right about here. Then I'm going to grab my eraser, move the opacity back down. There we go. Click on this layer, duplicate it, edit, transform, rotate. I'll rotate it about like that. Actually, need to move this layer up about there. And I'm going to move it up to about here, edit, transform, rotate. I thinking something kind of like that. Then I'm going to duplicate it, edit, transform, and I'm going to flip it horizontal. I'm just going to move it over to this side. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know why I've been coughing so much. Maybe there's something in the air down here. I don't know, if any of y'all live in Texas, then let me know if y'all been coughing too, because it's a pandemic, man. It's just a pandemic. Okay, so now we gotten that. Our wheel cylinder is just about complete. I mean, it's extremely close. But now we have these little things that are protruding out. We need to get rid of that. So, easiest way to do that is I'm going to take this tool and I'm just going to kind of go around here like so. It didn't do anything. So let me just go around here like so. Am I missing something? Do y'all see this going on too, or is it just me? So I'm going to try this again. There we go. Okay, and see, this actually grabbed exactly like I wanted it to. So this is really going to make it easy. In fact, I'm going to add this little section down here as well. And I'm going to go Control C, V. I'm just going to move it over here. Edit, transform, rotate. And if y'all have not figured it out by now, yes, this is going to be a very long video. This is going to be the more advanced steps to tweaking, I guess. I don't know. That's what we call it at work, tweaking, because why not? And if you're wondering, I don't do this for a living. I actually just do this on my free time. I'm actually a plant technician, so make sure we have this layer selected, Control CV. And I'm just going to start moving these into place. Let's see, it needs to be moved right about here. Control V. So, yeah, if y'all are wondering what I do, that's what I do for a living. I've actually been studying Maya for, about 8 years now. And I've been studying Photoshop for about 2 years approximately. So that's actually where I have all my skill. This is how I'm able to do all this stuff and just make it look, like it's nothing, because I've been doing it for so long now that it just, I'm not going to say it comes naturally, because I know there are some of y'all out there who know Photoshop way better than I do. My sister would be one of those people. And if you're wondering, no, she did not teach me any of this stuff. I'm actually 100% self-taught. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't get tutored by a person who cost $4,000 an hour. This is actually something that I've just been studying all on my own. And essentially, some of y'all might get discouraged by that, but even if you went to college for this stuff, people who went to college will tell you, yeah, dude, it's the exact same thing. You will have to study. The only difference is in college you have come on, all you college grads, help me out. What are those called? The thing where you have to go online and discussion boards. So in college you have what's called discussion boards, and that's the only difference. Is I didn't have to do that because I did not go to college. And a discussion board is basically where, when you're in school, the professor will be like, okay, listen up. You're going to do this, this, and this, and you're going to put it on this board, and you're going to make it look just beautiful. And you can't be like, well, screw you, man. Well, the problem is that actually counts for part of your grade. So that's really the only difference. And also, they get a degree, I don't. There we go. So that's been blended. Now I need to blend this section down here. Yeah, this is the nice thing about whenever you're dealing with something like this, is you don't have to sit there and actually just blend the crap out of it like we were earlier. You can just kind of roll with it. There we go. I'm going to select this one right here, though, and I'm going to manipulate this just a little bit. I'll manipulate that and that. I need to go back and click on this one. I'm going to do the same thing. You don't have to add this detail. You're probably honestly not even going to see it in the pixelation. I'm just doing it because I want to be as I want it to look as good as possible. So I'm going to move this about here, and I'm going to go ahead and erase down here. Something kind of like that. I'm going to erase this line as well. I'm going to erase this line. One thing I do like about game art is, so in programming, yes, I'm also a programmer, but in programming, it's like you have to type it like this. If you don't, then you'll run into this issue. Now, there are some things that you can do that you don't have to do it like that. Prime example would be something like if you're going to, I'm trying to think, like if you're going to have something rotate. There are multiple ways of making an object rotate. It's not just one size fits all. But generally speaking, though, if you're going to be programming, it's it's pretty much like this is the way it's got to be typed. If not, you're going to run into this error or you're going to run into this problem. You'll have things like that, especially if you're programming in Unity and you're trying to do ECS. So the thing I like about game art, however, is it's not like this thing where it's like, hey, you have to do it like this. Because of the fact that with game art, it's basically just going in there and manipulating things and trying to make them look as good as possible. And that's one thing I do like about game art over programming. I mean, just way better. So, if any of y'all are, if any of y'all are game artists, and you've dabbed in programming, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, especially when you're trying to get something to work and you go through all of your code and then you realize, oh, it's because I had a bracket out of place. I mean, that just pisses me off. And it's like it's something so simple. Okay, there we go. So, I'm halfway tempted to fart with these bullets a little bit more. I mean, like, I am really tempted. You have no idea. But I'm not. Or how many of y'all just went, oh, thank God. Okay, so... yeah, we have a little bit of protruding back here. I'm going to see how it looks. Honestly, I think I can live with that. I'm like, yeah, I could work with it a little bit more down here, and I think I will. But for the most part, I think I can live with this. I really do. So I'm going to grab 60 and up. Oh, I cannot believe I just did that. Merge layers. Going to grab a little sliver like that. Control CV. I'm going to rotate it. Yeah, honestly, the rest of this doesn't look half bad. It's just this little section. Right, Mia. Let's see. Okay. Then we will duplicate. Boy. I wish I had like a little buzzer I could click on to warn y'all that I'm getting ready to cough. Unfortunately, I do not. Like the dogs don't even bark to alert me that I'm getting ready to cough. It kind of happens. It's kind of like when you need a fart, and then you fart, and then you realize that fart wasn't really a fart. I mean, yeah, it just happens sometimes. It's just the way it comes out, and it's unpleasant, but, I mean, that's life, man. Sometimes life can be unpleasant. And I'm going to duplicate the layer one more time. Edit, transform. Now, I know this is a lot of extra steps that you are probably like, man, I just wanted to learn how to do this real quickly. I'm going to completely agree with you. This is a lot of steps. But I promise you, if you're still following me and you're starting to have like doubts about following me, as far as all the steps go, when you get the end product, you're just going to be blown away. You're going to be like, oh, wow, I did that. That is amazing. So, I mean, I know it's a pain. I'm not going to say it's not because I know it is. But, I mean, just keep on with it. And trust me, you will not be disappointed. So right now, I'm making sure all these layers are visible, except for those. I'm going to select every single layer and I'm going to merge them. Look how clean that looks now. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I actually want to take this, I want to take this whole thing right here, and I want to move it. In order to do so, I need to select it. I'm going to do Control-C-V, and it'll make sense here in just a little bit on why I just did that. I'm just going to select this and delete, oh, because I got the wrong layer selected. I'm just going to delete this out. So now, me having this other layer, I can move this wherever I want and not have to worry about quote-unquote clipping. So see, like I can move this right about here, and I can just find the best position for it. I think it's something kind of like that. Now this isn't like the best way to do a texture map. I'm just doing it like this because of I'm basically just doing it like this because I'm trying to do it as a time saver. Normally when you make a texture map, you try to take all of this and make it as tight of an area as possible. And generally that's what I would try to shoot for. Actually, I'm just going to grab in here and I'm going to match the pixels. I'm thinking something kind of like this. Control-C. Let me select this layer. Okay, Control-C. And then I'm going to go down here. Control-V. You don't like me. Alright. So then all we have to do is just match the pixels. I actually need to move this forward. Yeah. Right about there. Nope. Right about here. Yep. Red Superhawk. There we go. Next thing we'll need to do is somewhere down here. Here it is. Select this layer. And I'm actually going to cut right here in the middle of this 9. Control-C, V. We're going to scroll down. Now all we have to do is just match up the 9. There we go. Control-S. Now, one thing I probably should have warned you about, this is definitely an advanced tutorial. There's no doubt about it. This is like, it's definitely up there with on its difficulty. Move that. So, I'm kind of torn right now. I think what I'm going to do is something I should have done. I should have done this a long time ago. Wait, do I even have that in the scene? I do have that in the scene. Good. So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this sliver. Actually, I'm going to grab this sliver of metal. Control C, and then Control V. I'm going to move this sliver to the very top. And is what I'm going to do with this sliver. If you remember in one of my previous ones, I tried to make this metal match this. It doesn't quite match. I want to get that as close as possible. I want to have it with that real superb look to it. And so this time I'm actually going to be matching this metal to this, which should be, I want to say it should be fairly easy. It's not going to be something that you're just going to go hop and a skip and it be done. But yeah, so let's see. For this layer, is what I need to do is I actually want to select this out of it. So I'm going to select this layer. I'm going to grab. Wait, no, I want to make this match this. That's what I want to do. So I need to grab this right here. Control C. Control C, V. And I need to move this back into position. Trying to make it as pixel perfect as possible. So honestly, this layer can just die. So I'm going to move this one down to about here, and this is going to be kind of time consuming, but I promise you it's going to look way better. So as you can see, the saturation does not matter. Actually, none of this stuff matters. Why does this not matter? Because it's on bottom. Yay. Let me go and turn off these. I'm going to select this. I'm actually going to delete this. Delete that. Delete that section. Delete that. Delete that. Then I'm going to grab my eraser tool. I'm going to increase the brush size. Make sure this layer is selected. And I'm going to erase this out. About like that. Now I'm going to select this layer again, because I'm sure y'all have noticed this. I am just now noticing it. That right about there. Eraser tool. I'm going to delete that. Let's see, something kind of like that. So now I need to go down to way down. Let's just start blending. Here we go. I'm gonna blend this just a little bit more right about there. There we go. Still kind of tell. Just gonna blend this off a little bit more. Okay, there we go. You can kind of tell. I mean, obviously wood's not gonna have these little chips like this, but honestly, you can tweak this a little bit more if you want. That is completely up to you. I'm not going to hold it against you. If you can make it look better than me, then by all means, shoot for the stars. Okay, so now we got this purple Ruger. let's go ahead and start working on making this match this. So, oh, I don't want to do that. I want to leave this at 0. Go into saturation. I'm like, it's already close, because see, before we had this, we had about this look right here. And so by me doing this, it's already making it look significantly closer. But I need to go into the levels. I'm going to tweak the levels. Wrong way, Jimmy. Tweak the levels about like so. And also it doesn't help the fact that these two metals are actually different. This is actually brushed stainless steel, and this one is polished stainless steel. I know this because the troll told me, man. So we're going to see if we can find that sweet spot right in here somewhere. Let's see, this actually has kind of a bluish tint to it, just a little bit of one. So I'm just trying to find sweet level. Okay. Now, one other option you could do is you could actually just take this and start copying and pasting sections of this over here. You are more than welcome to do that. Honestly, I might have to. I really don't want to. I just really, really don't want to. But, oh, man, that sucks. That, like, really sucks. I don't know if y'all are, like, thinking, hey man, that sucks. But if you are, I'm going to have to completely agree with you. And it's really just this part that I want. Because this is actually the wheel cylinder release mechanism, or it's actually the pin for it. See, this whole assembly right here actually folds out. So, I guess we don't really need it. But, I mean, it just sucks. Either way, we're going to continue on. We need a bullet now. So, under ammo, we can actually zoom out finally, and we're going to see if we can, yeah, we'll just take this little guy right here. Control C, Control V, and we got a bullet. Perfect. We're going to go to Edit, Transform, Rotate. We need the top part right here flat. And that looks good enough. Good enough for government work. Am I right? I'm right. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in. We gotta zoom way in. And I'm going to take this section. Oh, it's not flat. Oh, come on. So I'm going to go to Layer, New Layer. Okie dokie. I'm going to paint. Blah. This is going to take a minute. There we go. And I'm going to bring down the opacity, about like that, and I'm going to cut a sliver out of it, like that. So, now I can take this bullet and edit, transform, rotate. There we go. And so now I can just delete this layer. So the advantage of doing that is now when I grab it, I can grab right here down the center, Control C, V, Edit, Transform. We're going to flip vertical, and then I'm going to move this down to about here. And we now have a bullet texture. Yeah, we got some weird things like this going on, but I mean, honestly, don't complain. Because all we have to do is just combine these two layers, or merge these two layers, I'm sorry. And then I'm going to zoom in. You know, we got to zoom in a little bit more. If we want to get rid of this, all we're going to do is we'll make sure that this layer is selected. And we're going to select this sliver right here, Control CV. And I'm going to move this back to about here. Afterwards, we'll grab the brush tool. And we're just going to blend this in like so. There we go. And you can do this again just to get rid of this down here. So like I could grab this right here, make sure my bullet layer is selected, Control CV, and I could just move it like so. And then it'd be the exact same thing with the eraser tool, just coming down here and blending this off. Not really a required step, completely up to you. So grab all these, merge. And so now with this layer selected, I could just grab this section way up here like this, Control CV, edit, transform, flip vertical, and then move it right about here. And as you can see, because we grabbed from up here, the pixels are actually going to line up rather nicely. So we have this weird thing going on down here. We'll select the bullet layer again, and we're trying to get rid of all this. This is not something we want to keep. So I'm going to grab this right here, Control CV, and then I'm going to move this down where it matches up about here, Control V, and I'm going to do the same thing right about here. And then this does curve up, so what we'll go is we'll go into Transform, and we're going to skew it. So if we skew it, we can move it up like that. There we go. And then all I have to do is just very, very gently. In fact, it might work better if I go ahead and grab a smaller brush. Did they tell Picasso no brush? Why, yes, they did. Okay, so now we got that one done. We'll click on this one, the first one that we made, and it's going to be the same thing. We're just going to blend it off like so. Just very lightly right there. Okay, there we go. Now you can't even tell that you've done anything. So the next thing we need to do is we need to click on the bullet layer again, and we want to get rid of this middle section right here. So there's several ways we can do that. I'm actually just going to grab this orange right here. I'm going to grab it right about there, Control CV, and I'm going to just move it down. I'm going to move it down about here because I want some of this orange in there too. Control V. I'm going to move this right about here. And then Control V, I'm going to move this one up to about here. And then it's the same thing as before. We're just going to blend this off about like that. We'll click on the first one that we did. We'll go ahead and blend off this edge, this upper edge on the top portion of it, and we'll blend down here. And then afterwards, we'll grab this bottom one that we made, and that was an epic fail. We'll grab this bottom one that we made, and same thing, we're just going to blend downwards. Now I'm going to actually blend this up, just 3 clicks, that's it. And after that, we're going to click on the bullet layer, and we will grab this small little portion right here. I'm going to grab my move tool so I don't lose it, Control CV, and I'm going to move it right about here, Control V, and we'll do Control V, and then guess what? Control V, Control V, Control V. Alright, so now we got these 6 pieces. Exact same thing, you guessed it. Blending off. So we'll select this one, and we'll do the same thing. Now these up here, I'm also going to blend the crap out of the top. There we go. And the reason for that is because we already have that middle piece that we did that comes in and makes all that look uniform. So I'm just going to do this one real quick, and this way you can see exactly what I'm talking about. That is not at all what I am talking about. Bring that back. Okay, there we go. Now I got it selected. I don't know why the hell it did that. So with me blending this off like so, make sure that one's selected this time. With me blending off the top, it basically matches the orange area that we put in there just a little while ago. And it'll make it look a little bit more uniform, not so bleh. Okay. Then we'll select that one. Going to do the same thing. Blend this off. Actually, I should have been blending the bottom of it too, but I wasn't. There we go. So let me go back to this one right here. Blend the bottom. And then we'll go back to this one right here, and it's going to be the same thing. I want to try and match this curve. There we go. And we have this little spot that's sticking out. You probably won't see it, but I'm still going to blend it off. So now when we zoom out, that's our bullet texture. Now we could do a few more things, but I'm honestly not going to be too terribly worried about it because I think that looks good enough. So, I had to get a drink. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and get rid of all this extra crap out here. I guess that's fur. I don't know what that was. I have no idea what they even took this picture on. And that was another cough. There's my buzzard. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just see if this will clip this area, and it does not. Oh wait, it doesn't matter because what I need to do is I need to grab all of these layers that we made. I need to merge them. So yeah, now we have our layer. Okay, epic. So I'm going to take this, Control CV. I'm going to move this off to the side. I'm going to then take this and make sure I have this layer selected. Oh, come on. Make sure this layer is selected. Delete and delete. Okay, so now we got this layer right here. Yeah. I'm going to select just outside, and we'll see what this actually selects for me. Of course. Naturally. So, I guess we're keeping the fur in the image because I do not feel like farting with all that. So yeah, you get fur in the image. Just a little added bonus. So if your gun's a furry, you're welcome. You suck. I have no idea what those are a part of. It does not matter. Let's go ahead and merge these layers. Let me see if I can get rid of these now. There we go. Okay, so with the bullet texture, we have a lot of area up here, so that's actually where I'm going to move it. Let me go ahead and Control C, V. Yeah, I don't know why I merged them. I already knew that I was going to have to move them later on, so, I mean, it's whatever. Okay. Go ahead and delete this layer. I think that's going to be everything we're going to need. I think it is. I don't know. Control C, V. I wonder how much that's been driving y'all crazy. Just seeing that sitting there, mocking you, laughing at you, letting you know how miserable your life is for that being skilled. If you're wondering, once again, I'm just rapid clicking around here. That's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to make this match. And now I'm having to hit Control Z, or in Photoshop, it's actually Control-Alt-Z to undo your last movement. I'm clicking it a lot of times just to get rid of that. There we go. Control-S, and then we're going to go to File. No, we're not. As what I want to do is I'm actually going to zoom out, and I'm going to merge all of these layers together, and then I'm going to select them. Control-C. We will create a new document, if it will ever load. Control-V. There we go. I did not look at the image size. Oh well, it doesn't matter. So we're going to save this as Ruger Texture Map PS, which is Photoshop, and then after that we're going to File, Save As, and this is going to be Ruger Texture Diffuse, and we're going to put this under PNG. Save. Okay. Now, one thing I have not done yet, and I'm kind of upset at myself for this, but we have all this white area, and so is what I want to do is I actually want to take some of this brushed stainless. We can actually use this for this too. This might actually work out kind of nice. I think I'm just going to cover this whole area right here with brushed stainless. I mean, well, no, because we got this and we got that, so no, I don't really need to do that. It was tempting. It was a really tempting thought. I mean, you have no idea. PNG. And so, just save as that. I don't know how loud that was to you, but to me that was actually kind of loud. Tutorial. Ruger Texture Diffuse. Rager Texture Diffuse. Yeah, I know that ain't right. So I'm going to delete that one. And this is slightly larger than a 4K. Probably need to change that up because a true 4K is 4096 by 4096. So yeah, we need to change this up just a little bit. And basically to do that, I can just simply grab this section right here. Actually, I need to grab more than that. Oh, come on, Jimmie. Do you not know how to grab things anymore? There we go. And then I'm just going to move this up. Move this up to about there. Then I'm going to grab my eraser tool. Yeah, it's big enough. And I'm just going to move the opacity up to 100%. Naturally. Oh, you bastard. I know what you did now. Control-C, V. To move this up about here. Then I'm going to erase part of this layer. There we go. Then I'm going to click down here. I'm going to erase part of this layer. That's too much. Oh wait, it doesn't matter because that's not the... Let me select layer 1. Delete. There we go. Awesome. So now I can Control-A, Control-C. Let's create a new document. Not yet, because the other problem that we ran into... So this is 4321 by 4097. Control-C. I'm just going to put this in Paint. Yeah, because that always works. Control-C. Let's go ahead and go to New Document. So it's 4096 Should be 4096. Create. Control V. So we indeed have clipping. We have clipping, Captain. So this is one of the things you're going to run into. Have fun. But we can still manipulate some of this stuff. So, like, we don't need all this extra stuff up here. This right here, I can actually move this over to, like, down here somewhere. This extra stuff up here, I don't even need it. There we go. I don't even need it. But now this handle's going to be a trick. And when I say a trick, I don't mean like a prostitute kind of trick. I mean it's legitimately going to be interesting to move. Because now that I have just the handle selected, I actually need to edit, transform, and I need to rotate it. I'm actually going to rotate it about like that. Oh, and if you remember in the tutorial last night, this was actually flipped. I can fix that in here by simply flipping it in here. I'm not going to, though, because I just don't want to. So we got that right there. I'm going ahead and hit Enter, because that is where I want it. And under this image right here, I'm going to hide this image. No, I don't have that anymore. Okay, so actually, if I was going to do that, I'd need to take this section of it right here and put this down here. I'm not going to do that. But it's what I will do, because under layer 1 right here is what I can do, is I can actually take this back section right about here, and I can move this in and edit, transform. I can move it clockwise. Let's see, put this right about here. Yeah, right about there. So then I'll press Enter. Now because this is a 4096 texture map, I already know this is going to be 4K. Yeah, there's some more detail that you can throw in here. That's completely up to you. I'm trying to think if there's anything on the gun that we're really going to need to be concerned with. I don't think there is. I think we're pretty good, because we got the bullets. The only thing we don't have is the lens or anything like that. We can actually do the lens in the other program, Unity. If you wanted to create a high-resolution map of it, I'm going to select layer 1. I'm actually going to use this layer right here as the thing. You know, man, the thing that we talked about. That thing. Yeah, that thing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually going to blow the hell out of this. I did not mean to do that. So what I need to do is with this... Why are you doing this to me? Okay, with layer 1 selected, I'm going to select this little section, Control C, V, and then I'm going to move it right about here. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete this. And then I'm going to delete this. And last thing, I will delete this down here. There we go. So now we got this layer right here that is just a black layer. Don't ask me why it's got to be black. I don't know. So I'm going to move this halfway. And I'm going to start blending on this. 13% looks good. Because, you know, here in the lovely state of Texas, yesterday was Friday the 13th. So it just seems appropriate. Back to rapid clicking. Am I missing something? No, that's layer 2. It just does not seem like it's doing diddly squat right now. Is it doing diddly squat? It is not doing diddly squat, so what am I... Huh. There we go. I guess I had the selection tool selected somewhere, and that's what was causing the error. Yeah, because see, now this is blending beautifully now. Oops. I did not mean to do that. So now I'm going to select both of these, merge, and I will duplicate this layer. Erky derky. I'm going to move this over probably right about here. And then I'm going to blend this in. Something kind of like this. And then I will select both of these, merge, duplicate. This will make sense here in just a second, I promise. Well, I don't promise, but you know what I mean. I never make promises, man. Okie dokie. And now we have I guess you'd call it like a half-assed looking texture map. Merge layers. Okay, so let me go ahead and fit on screen. This is our 496 or 4K our 4K resolution texture map. So let's go ahead and go to File, Save As, PNG, which is right here. And this is the diffuse. Save. Yes. Okie. Next thing we want to do is we will go into here. Wait for it to finish saving. Should be about there. Should be. Any day now. Screw it. I'm tired of waiting. Okay, so this is the first steps of making a bump map. In bump mapping, if it's gray, which is a neutral, I believe it's one... Let's see, full value is 255. Black is a value of 0. So if it's a value of about 177, that would be a neutral layer, which means it has no height or depth. A black layer, however, will be depth, and a white layer will be height. So that's the general idea of texture maps. And a lot of times, I don't sit there like this Ruger, that's going to be protruding out. We're not going to be using it, so I don't care. However, this Super Red Hawk is actually etched in there, so that's actually going to have depth to it. That works out. Wrong one. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll come in here, I'll move this one down just a little bit, and this one's actually brought up just a hair. So this part on the bullet is going to be protruding out. And as what I'll do is I'll go into Layer, New, and then I will actually just kind of paint. Grab white. All I'm going to do is that the brush I want? I cannot remember. So I'm actually just going to paint over the bullet. There we go. Because I don't want the bullet to have... Oh, wait a minute. There is one part I want the bullet to have bump on. Just one little pot. And that's going to be these ridges right here. And so I'm going to grab... the eyedropper. If I can figure out where it's at. And I'm just going to grab... I'm going to say this right here. Then we'll go into... Not erase. Not want to erase. Erase is bad. Okay, so I have no idea why it's not. It's supposed to be gray, not white. And the reason why I want gray is because of the fact that earlier I said gray is kind of a neutral. And that's why I was wanting gray. So I'm gonna go back in here in just a little bit and fix that. For now, I'm just going to kind of hide all of this. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that down there because that'll actually be modeled in there. So it's not like I'm going to need a displacement map or anything. Let's see. Right about there, right about there. Let me make my brush size smaller. Just going to hide that. Yeah. Now, one thing I'm kind of wondering, you guys, if these tutorials have actually helped you, just, you don't have to hit the like button or subscribe. If you do, that would be awesome. That'd be like tubular. But really, I'm just kind of curious, just throw a comment in there like, yeah, man, these videos really helped me out with this project, this school project I was working on. And, I mean, I can't thank you enough, Jimmy. Or, something kind of like, dude, your tutorials were shit. They sucked. You need to die. A very painful, miserable death. So, I mean, it's just kind of let me know, man. I'm actually kind of curious. I probably could have made that a little bit bigger. That's what she said. There we go. And all I'm doing is I'm just trying to get roughly the bullet size in here. So this way, when I go in for the bump map, it will put on screen. It'll actually have these ridges in here. It's going to look a little weird, but that's life. File, save as. And this one is going to be our bump texture. Save. Okay. Yes. And we will open up the Red Hawk. Taking another drink. Because, we gotta wait for mine to load anyways. And I know there's like some weird audio problems. I've actually listened to my tutorials before, because like some of the things I was saying here, I'm just like, why would I say that? And I noticed that there are some audio issues. It's like, I guess you'd say kind of clipping issues. That's just because what I'm using, I'm actually using a very cheap headset, and I mean it's craptacular. It really is. And so it's going to have issues. But what was I saying? Oh, it has a microphone attached to it, and so basically all I'm trying to say is that the microphone, it's like not the best. Eventually, if there's enough people who like my videos and stuff, I'll probably actually invest in a real microphone. But for the time being, this is kind of what I have to work with. So now the texture map, this will change, and the reason why, because we completely manipulated it. So that's why we're getting this weird issue here. But I mean, very simply, we just have to grab the UVs. We're just going to move these back into position. Scale these in just a little bit. And if you remember this part, this was like just scaling this, where we just grab this small little section right here. Something kind of like that. And so when we come back in and look at this, we have this beauty right here. That actually lined up. That lined up really nicely. I'm actually kind of shocked. So we didn't grab the front of the wheel cylinder. I didn't really feel like taking the time to do it, because in a video game you're never going to see the front. You're just going to see the back. So that's why I'm not really worried about taking the time to do that. I'm just kind of taking my time to do the rest of this. No, not vertex face. There we go. And there we go. So now when the wheel cylinder goes flying out like that, like it would in real life, this is what you're going to see. And see, you even have depth on the bullets. So Yeah, I know you're not going to see that. You can change this as well. You could actually create another texture map for it. I think you guys get the idea. Um, or just not show anyone the front of it. That's what I would do. So that actually lined up really nicely. I am actually really shocked on how well that lined up. I was not expecting that. Let's go to UV mapping. I'm not going to lie, I don't remember where any of this crap was. Face. Okay, so this right here was right here. Imprint. Zoom in. Yeah, I honestly was not going to originally open Maya and do this. I'm just choosing to do it. You know, I'm sure some of y'all, you might be watching this and it's like 2 a.m. You're gonna be like, man, screw this guy, it's late. I would have to agree with you, in all honesty. So this is the white layer. So this just needs to go right here. It just needs to go right here and die. Oh, we got some shadows. Cannot have shadows. Need to keep it as white as possible. This is one of the few times that white is right. I'm sure some of you are going to make a comment to that joke. Would not be the first time. And I'll move this down here. And so now is what I want to do is I actually want to grab this cap. So I'm going to move this out of the way for now. Same with this. Same with this. Same with this. The caps, I'm going to select all of them. I do not have them all. Oh. Oh. Okay. So, I'm going to increase this. I'm just going to make this about the same size. Move this down about here. So, let's get a comparison. This is all stretched. This is all uniform. It didn't blend half bad either. I'm actually kind of shocked. I was like, I wasn't real sure how this was going to blend. I really wasn't. So we got this. So we need to do planar projection mapping. Come on. This is going to be projected from Z-axis. Apply. G. And G. So now under the UV texture editor, yeah, see, we got all these in here now. And all I'm going to do is just move them all down here. I'm going to make them all about the same size. Like so. There we go. It doesn't look half bad. I'm rolling with it. You can sit there tweak it if you want, but I'm rolling with it. Control S. Yeah, we could fart with those a little bit more. Doesn't look too bad though. So I'm actually going to stop the video tutorial right here because I know I'm well over an hour. I'm actually going to end up making this probably a two-part series. Yeah, so I'll pick up on this and we'll finish up on the texture mapping of this weapon and we'll go from there, and I hope to see y'all there.